Hello, welcome to my Unity tutorial. If you haven't done so already, install Unity Hub and install Visual Studio Code. I'm not going to go over too much in this video. I'm just going to go over setup. Please watch to the end because I'm going to go over major things that you should do to set up your project. But before we do that, go to installs and make sure you have the latest version. To double check, you can click add and then select the latest version. Click next and then select which devices your project will support. So if you want to build for Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Xbox 360 or whatever, you can do that here, or whatever devices you want to use. I'm not going to install it because it's going to take some time, so I'm going to use an older version. If you only have one version of Unity, clicking new will be fine. If you have multiple versions, to select the latest one, you want to click the drop down because clicking new does not automatically select the latest version you have. So I'm going to click this one because that one's a beta, the latest one I have. So I don't want to use a beta for safety reasons. Now you can select between 2D, 3D, 3D with extras, and then render pipelines. There might be different ones for different versions. Render pipelines you don't need to worry about. If you know what it is, use them. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it at all. You can always add them later in your game. If you don't want to do 3D, but you already selected it, and you wanted to do 2D later on, you can always change that throughout your game, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. 3D with extras is just example assets, so you can mess around and learn. We're going to name this my first game, and then you can select which drive or the location of where you're going to install it, and then press create. It's going to take a while to install, so I'll be right back. Alright, so the first thing you'll want to do is click on the top right where it says layouts and change it to tall. Or was it wide? No, it was tall, sorry. Yeah, change it to tall. And then you want to click the Games tab and drag it to the bottom. And then even it out. You can add more space by pinching the windows. And this is the best professional layout. This is what most people use, and this is the best way to set up your documents to make things faster and easier to work with. You can save it. I personally saved it as Pro. So you can save this layout. So my layout actually looks something like this, where the scene, it's very similar, but I have a few more windows. You can add more windows by clicking windows and then selecting which windows you want. So you definitely want to have like a console window to make sure you don't have errors, because tall does not come with it. And then I just put it here. If fuck, Google, stop. Okay. Anyways, you can put it here, and it'll just show you error messages or any messages you want to have. You can also put it here if it's too small, because it might be harder to read here. The next thing you'll want to do is go to Edit, Project Settings, and then make sure you can also put that in there, because there's a lot of things you need to mess with there. Then you want to go to Edit Preferences, change this script editor to Visual Studio Code. If it's not there, browse it wherever you installed it, and then you should be good to go. One last thing you want to do is you want to right click projects and select it to one column layout. This is important because it makes it much more easier to look at, whereas the other one, it's going to be a little bit more clustered and harder to see. This is actually very important as to why you should name your files so that it's easy to recognize and distinguish between what is what and know what is where, and why you should have a better file system. Otherwise you'll have to like look at what each file is, and that's kind of annoying. So just keep it with a one column layout so you don't have to rely on visuals and just rely on the name itself. And you should also create like multiple files in the asset files. So I would create a new folder. They're not meant to put in the scene, and call it objects. Create another folder and call it scripts. And this just helps you like put things in different locations. So I'd put all my code into my scripts in every like 3D assets or any sprites into objects, and it just helps with the workflow.